Hi, this slideshow is designed to give you a little bit of information about myself and what I'd like to help you learn in Health 430. First of all, I just want to tell you what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to talk a little bit about my education, a little bit about my career, and then a little bit about myself. So I have my bachelor's degree and master's degree both from Towson University. I graduated in 1981 with my bachelor's degree, so you can figure out how old I am, which is pretty old. I went back to school and got my master's degree in 1986 in school health education. In the 80s and 90s, I participated in some doctoral studies in women's health and human sexuality at College Park that I did not finish. And currently I'm enrolled in a doctoral program in instructional technology. A little bit about my career. In my early career, I spent from 1981 to 1994, I was teaching part-time at Towson University and the Community College of Baltimore County. I taught 8th grade, which was in junior high school in PG County, for a semester. I then moved to a city Catholic school and taught grades 4 through 8. And in that situation, I taught math, science, and health. And in 4th grade, I was part of a grant where we were teaching human sexuality to 4th graders. I then went to Baltimore City Schools, and I was at Patterson High School for a year. And while I was there, I started out on a grant that taught high school students who had already been identified with high blood pressure. I taught them how to use relaxation techniques to lower their blood pressure. I then transferred to Falstaff Middle School, where I taught 8th grade health. From Falstaff Middle School, I became the AIDS Education Facilitator for Baltimore City School System, and in that role I had to train teachers, parents, and staff on AIDS prevention as it related to them personally. From there, I moved to a half-time position in Worksite Wellness Coordinator. I was a young parent, and I was studying classes and doctoral program, so this was a half-time position I shared with someone else. And in the Worksite Wellness position, I was in charge of developing wellness programs for approximately 12,000 employees at approximately 100 different sites. In my later career, I became an assistant principal at Baltimore County School System at Dundalk Middle School, which was very exciting to me because I grew up in Dundalk, so I got to go back to my roots. From there, I moved to coordinator and then eventually director of Health and Human Services at the Community College of Baltimore County. And as the director, I was in charge of 20-some programs that produced training for health careers that did not require a degree. And my department was based on making money. It wasn't like a normal college program. We had to be self-sufficient and support ourselves and the money we made. And we grew under my direction from approximately $300,000 a year of revenue to almost $2 million a year of revenue. In that position, I learned a lot about the business aspect of health and health education. And at that time, I retired with 31 or 32 years of service in the state retirement system. And now I've been fortunate enough to come to Towson University and teach full-time. Personal information about myself: I have a son who is in his 20s. He's a financial planner. He works in Philadelphia. For most of his life, I was a single parent and was juggling single parenthood and a career and education. And the 3 things that I really like to do the most are biking, swimming, and jogging or walking. And so the photographs that I have here, the one is of my famous bike trail. It's in NOLA. It has a lot of eagles, and when we go biking or walking there, we get to see a lot of eagles flying around. The one photograph of me on a bike is the first time I did a 22-mile trip in one day, so that was a big moment. And the last one is a photograph of my pool, open with lots of worms in it. It hasn't been cleaned yet. And while my pool is open from the beginning of May to the end of September, I try to swim at least 3 times a week, if not every day. So it's a little bit of information about myself and who I am as a person. And finally, I wanted to talk to you about what my goals are for you in this class. I have 3 big goals. The first one is I'd like to share some of my experiences from my 35 years in health education to try to help you gain a perspective of what it's like to be a health educator. Then I'd like you to learn how to work in teams or groups effectively. Throughout your career, you're going to be required to be in groups and teams, solving problems and developing programming. And it's important for you to learn at this point what makes an effective team and how do you make a team successful. And finally, I'd like to give you the opportunity to plan, implement, and evaluate a health education program. In this class, you're going to be able to take everything you've learned in all your classes and apply it to a real-life situation. So I'm looking forward to meeting you the end of the month, and I'd like you to start to think about what your goals are for this class. One of your first reflections will be asking you to talk about what your goals are. Again, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you the end of the month.